Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me for another one of my videos. Welcome to Simon's Trading Channel. It is Tuesday. Looking like the second red day in a row for Bitcoin. Bit of a shame, right? Well, it's no great shakes on the in the grand scheme of things, in my opinion. So certainly no need to send out for the fire brigade, as they say. Okay, let's get straight on with the price action analysis. Excuse my cough; it's being very annoying and persistent. So as you can see here, I've got my little sort of trend analysis set up with the RSI at the top, Bollinger Band in the middle, and my marvelous MACD at the bottom. Now, um, I alluded to this in yesterday's video, really before the most of this pullback occurred, and it was turning. What would price action need to do to turn this into a high? If it did turn, excuse me, if it did then turn into a high, what would that mean? Well, price action has indeed turned this into a high. And what that means, well, there's a little bit of regular bearish divergence on the RSI, which is likely why we're seeing price action pull back, why Bitcoin is pulling back. But, it's no great shakes, right? Probably no coincidence that around about 90,000, which is what I tweeted yesterday, is on the cards. It's also the midpoint of the Bollinger Band. Now, from a momentum point of view, yeah, daily momentum still very much to the upside, but pointing down, and will do unless Bitcoin gets back above 99. So a fair way away from that at the moment. But this doesn't mean a great deal to me. This is still the trend intact. And actually, Bitcoin needed to pull back at some point to confirm another high in the sequence of higher highs. So that's just an uptrend, right? And then the next thing to look out for is a higher low. So we're on a higher low watch. Wherever Bitcoin decides to put in a higher low on this daily time frame, effectively anywhere above 68, but things would look a bit different then. However, could easily come back to midpoint of the Bollinger Band, or even a bit more. I'd go as far as say 85, doesn't really change very much, as long as Bitcoin then picks up and continues the overall trend. Effectively, excuse my coughing again, the longer Bitcoin kind of consolidates here without breaking down too far, the more time that gives things like the RSI to cool off and reset, ready for the next move. Because effectively, remember, the RSI is just a measure of the current candle as a percentage of the previous other ones. That's not a precise definition. You'll be able to find that on Investopedia. But the reasons why you don't see the RSI up and around the top here is that to maintain an RSI in these high regions, so, these were both above 80 or around 80, price would need to increase in the rate at which it went up. Well, that's a mathematical impossibility, right? Because unless Bitcoin does a vertical line, which is like in price terms would be infinity. So there's always going to be a period of time where the RSI needs to cool off. And looks like it's doing that now. So I think that'll do it for the daily. Switch down to the 4 hour. And if I get rid of my crazy line, you can see momentum did shift to the downside on the 4 hour on this candle here. So that was yesterday after I did my video. And I think price was here when I did my video. And I said the Bollinger Bands are narrow. So look to see which side the price is of the midpoint, should then volatility start to expand. And I said if it's above the midpoint and you get volatility expansion, the next move will be to the upside. If it's below the midpoint and volatility expands, there'll be a move to the downside, which is indeed what happened. And now price on this 4 hour time frame is right around this support area, which was resistance back over here. So again, nothing particularly concerning. you'd like to see Bitcoin start to pick up from these kind of regions. Again, anywhere from 85 to 90 roughly, just a bit above there. But the first step would be to close above the midpoint of the Bollinger, which is at 95. So still a fair way away from there. Sideways and more sideways than down would be more bullish, which is obviously a common sense thing to say. But yeah, first step for the next move to be to the upside is to reclaim 95k on a 4-hour time frame. You can see the RSI is called right down, having very obviously played out some bearish divergence on the RSI there. Now, the value to turn the MACD back to green, still momentum to the downside, but switching the direction of the MACD is indeed 93.5. So a little bit, that would be probably the first step, bit of work to do. And then the next step would be 95, or it's 96. But it all depends on when Bitcoin does that, because obviously this is a dynamic metric and it changes over time. So yeah, pullback is on. How much further? Probably not too much in my opinion. However, I don't know because I can't predict the future. Fibonacci retracement on this last move, it's a bit subjective. A lot of people would take it from this, from here. Personally, I'm not so convinced because to me, this is kind of one move on a daily time frame. But other people will disagree. That's what makes Fibonacci a bit subjective. But you can see if I do take it from the bottom of this move to the current top, then it's a very shallow retracement so far to 236. Would not be surprised if it comes somewhere down to 382, which is around that 85 region. But I'd prefer it if Bitcoin didn't, because like most people, I'm long Bitcoin. So I want to see the price go up, right? We're not in this game to lose money. We're in this game to make money, or I certainly am. Anyway, there we are. That's the price action analysis. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please like and subscribe. If you haven't, don't. And please join me tomorrow for Wednesday, which will be midweek. We'll see what the CME weekly timeframe is looking like. Take care. Goodbye.